It is a Friday night at Minute Maid Park where the Houston Astros continue their longest homestand of the year. Game 2 of this 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. Also game 2 of an 11-game homestand. The Astros playing game number 90 on the season. They are 27 games over 500. The White Sox 27 games under 500. Hi everybody, welcome to another night of Astros baseball. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Blummer, back and forth game last night, but a good way to start this homestand.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be at home. I'm just glad that they didn't go out there and squander another great home start for Justin Verlander. They came up big late.
And it was late, and it was a couple of guys who had been scuffling lately at the plate who really contributed for the Astros.
Yeah, and the timing is everything in this game, and I talk about it all the time. You can have a rough game, but there's always an opportunity for redemption, and this team really quantifies that late in ball games, especially here at home. When I'm talking about them playing at home, they always understand that they are going to have that last at bat. I think that's why there's no panic, and I also think that's a reason why a lot of fans hang out as long as they possibly can. But Marwin got that big pinch hit, base hit to get things going after Tony Kemp got on. And that one hit, you can see what that does to a man. Brings big smiles to George Springer. And then Yuli Gurriel picking up for Jose Altuve, who had a tough at bat striking out. But Yuli, the best in the American League with runners in scoring possession. And guess what? The Astros walk it off.
Yeah, a couple of guys contributing late. Hopefully that gets Marwin going and gets George going offensively. Because as you saw, it has been a struggle lately. Not a lot of run support for Verlander, as you mentioned. Hopefully a little more tonight for Lance McCullers Jr., who is very good in his last start against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and the one thing we know is that this rotation is going to go out there and pitch like crazy. They love being on the bump. They love being out there because of the stuff they have. We talk about the changeup a lot with Lance McCullers, but he went to the breaking ball last time out. It was highly effective for him, creating a ton of swings and misses, 21 to be exact, and 7 punch-outs against Tampa Bay. But keeping him off the board was big in Tampa Bay.
Lance McCullers Jr. facing the White Sox for the second time this year. Last time these two teams matched up, it was a 7-1 Astros victory in Chicago with Lance on the mound. We come back. It's been a lot of walk-offs lately for the Astros. We'll have more on this Friday night after this.
Astros taking last night for their 25th comeback win of the season, their 5th walk-off win. It's pretty fun to be at Minute Maid Park these days. But Yuli Gurriel being the hero, coming up with the game-winning hit. However, things got started with Tony Kemp, who came off the bench. We've actually seen him do this before as far as getting rallies going. He's our AT HOU No Player Does More. We're going to take you back June 6th. You might remember they started a 4-run rally against Seattle, and it all started with a Tony Kemp single who came in to score a run. The Astros would win 7-5. That was against the Mariners, and then we saw against the Toronto Blue Jays. Here comes Tony Kemp again, starting with a single, and he set up Bregman for a huge 2-run home run in that one to get the win. And then last night, drawing the walk. And AJ said, I had a choice to stay with Stassi, who could hit it out of the ballpark, or I could go with Tony Kemp, who's been so good at getting on base for this club. He did exactly what the team needed right there, and they went on to win. And doing positive things for this club is what Tony's done since he's been on this team. And I'm bringing Jeff Blum right now to join me and talk about another guy who's been in the middle of everything positive for the Astros, Alex Bregman, who also had another big walk in that inning. Jeff?
No, he really did. And these guys need table setters. Tony Kemp is one of those guys, but you also need somebody who enjoys the moment, and Alex Bregman is that guy. We've seen it several times this season, but last night was a great example of him being patient, using some of that zone control that we talk about, not getting outside it. He did a great job getting himself into a hitter's count, laying off some pitches on the outside corner, took a good pass at that fastball away, got fooled on this slider at 76 miles an hour, and then it was fight for your life. But he also knows that inside corner that he can lay off. They went away from him, trying to get him to chase, but he did not chase. He wants to be the hero, but at times he's not always going to have the pitch to be that hero. Instead, he passed the torch, got on base, and good things happened afterwards.
Been fun to watch, Blummer. Thank you for that. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the call with TK. All right, stay right there. Lance McCullers Jr. is going to take the mound shortly here at Minute Maid Park. We'll be right back with first pitch.
On AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Friday night, under the lights. It's a big and bright Friday night here at Minute Maid Park. A huge crowd, including a Strozone that's filled up as well as the White Sox take on the Astros in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Here is how they will line things up for the Chicago White Sox. For Rick Renteria, Yoan Moncada, Yolmer Sanchez. The top two in the lineup, both switch hitters, followed by Jose Abreu. Avisail Garcia bats cleanup. Daniel Palka is in left field. Matt Davidson back in the DH spot. Kevin Smith has been doing a nice job Behind the plate hitting, Larry Garcia, the shortstop, and Adam Engel round out your White Sox lineup.
Lance McCullers for your Houston Astros. Young right-hander, battle of 24-year-olds tonight. Got to remind yourself that Lance is 24, even though he is a veteran in the major leagues. 17 starts this season, 9-3 record, over 100 innings pitched. And again, A.J. Hinch talking a lot about how Lance McCullers is approaching this season, making the most consecutive starts and pitching a ton of innings already before that All-Star break. Looking to get that 10th win before the All-Star break also.
Yeah, we always talk about how if Lance could just get through a season, and here we are, and it's coming to reality as he makes another start in succession. Although this one was a little bit delayed, a little extra time in between starts. But again, you're talking about a guy who's on pace to shatter his career mark for most starts and most innings.
Yeah, it's a good thing for Lance. And the one word we keep wearing out with Lance is maturation process, and a lot of it has to do with in-game ability to adjust, but it also has to do with getting through a full season. We've yet to see that from Lance, but we know he's a strong kid and is able to do it.
So he's ready to go after the Astros had another walk-off victory last night to start this series. Lance facing the White Sox for the second time this year. On the first pitch, Yoan Moncada sends one to left field where Tony Kemp rests under it and makes the play for out number one. One pitch and one out. That's pretty efficient for Lance.
That is good, but Lance McCullers has the swing and miss stuff, and we saw it in his hometown against the Tampa Bay Rays. In that game, 21 swinging strikes against the Tampa Bay Rays, and we really saw him get heavy on that breaking ball. In that ball game, he threw 55 curveballs. 17 of those 21 swings and misses against that curveball. Came up big in that ball game. Unfortunately, the offense sputtering a little bit in that series, but Lance pitched extremely well trying to build off that.
And that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier with the maturation process. You see all the swings and misses on the curveballs, one fastball in there and a couple of changeups, but that was a place in the past, Tropicana Field, where he hadn't pitched very well. Maybe he was a little overamped up facing a team not far from where he grew up.
You always want to impress the home fans.
Now all of a sudden in his last start, setting a new career mark for swings and misses. Here he's ahead of Yolmer Sanchez, 0-2. Sanchez fouls the curveball away. Sanchez with good numbers against Lance. He's 3 for 6. A few guys have hit Lance pretty well. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters all have good numbers. Sanchez, Abreu, and Abaciel Garcia. Tried to hold up, but he did hold up, says third base umpire Todd Tichenor. That was close to a swing. Lance walking around the mound may have thought he went around.
All you umpires at home can judge on our Mattress Firm Supermo. I would have rung him up. I'm a little biased at times, though.
I thought that was a swing.
I like where your head's at.
1-2 is inside. It's 2-2. Lance pitched against the White Sox in this exact same matchup. McCullers versus Reynaldo Lopez. That was the final game of that 3-game series against the White Sox in Chicago. Both starters only gave up 1 run, but Lopez left after 5 innings. Lance pitched 6. Lopez ended up with a no decision, and Lance's offense gave him a W in that game. The Astros would win that one 7-1. So after getting a near strikeout, it's now 3-2. And a chop towards the left side. Alex Bregman makes the play to get Sanchez by less than a strike. 2 away. Here's the defense tonight for the Houston Astros with Josh Reddick playing right field, George Springer back in center, and Tony Kemp in left. Alex Bregman moves from short to third. That means Marwin gets the start tonight at short. Jose Altuve, Yuli Gurriel on the right side, and Tim Fedorovich behind the plate making his 4th start. 3 of those 4 starts have come with Lance McCullers on the mound. Fedorovich also caught McCullers on the final start of May against the Boston Red Sox and the first start of June against the Seattle Mariners. Both of those games here at Minute Maid Park. Brady takes a couple of pitches inside. Astros start the night in first place in the American League West. Winners of 3 in a row after losing 3 straight to the Tampa Bay Rays. Houston coming into tonight 58-31, a game and a half ahead of the Seattle Mariners. Fastball right down the middle for a strike. It's 2-2. Mentioned Abreu last night had very good numbers in his career against Verlander. Same against McCullers, but lately he has been struggling, and now he looks at a called third strike. He looked at 3 consecutive strikes after being ahead of the count. 2-0. McCullers with a strikeout in a 1-2-3 inning. Yuli Gurriel with his first walk-off hit in a Major League game last night. He'll bat in the cleanup spot at an even 300. George Springer, Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve in front of him. Josh Reddick in right field. Evan Gattis DHs. Marwin Gonzalez back in the lineup. Tim Fedorovich gets the start behind the plate, and Tony Kemp, who's been turning that lineup over nicely, bats 9th.
Right-hander Ronaldo Lopez going for the Chicago White Sox, came over from the Washington Nationals in that Adam Eaton trade. 17 starts this season. He is at 103rd innings pitched with 73 strikeouts. He throws very hard, averaging 95.5 miles on that fastball.
To the right side, Moncada had to move quickly to his left as he was in the shift, but makes the play on George. Just like the top of the inning, 1 pitch, 1 out.
And that game that Todd was talking about where these two matched up, Lopez and McCullers. In the 5 innings that Lopez went out there, the Astros made him work. He only gave up 1 earned run, 4 hits, but 4 walks, and they only struck out once against him.
The walks elevated that pitch count, the reason he only lasted 5 innings. It'll be interesting to see what kind of leash they allow for Reynaldo Lopez tonight. We saw last night Rick Renteria was allowing Carlos Rodon to throw 109 pitches, the most of the season. And tonight their bullpen is in no better shape than it was last night, if maybe a little worse.
Well, that's the comment I was going to make. They are praying that Lopez can get deep in this ball game because that bullpen has been taxed.
Lopez not a guy who generally throws a whole lot of pitches. 114 in his last start was a season high, but prior to that had not thrown more than 106. Pitching on his normal 4 days rest here as the White Sox played the 3rd city of their 3-city road trip. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers in Arlington, lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds in Cincinnati, and now dropped the first game to the Astros. Slider usage up from last year, and actually up from the first time the Astros saw him this year. 3-0 pitch is a strike. It's 3-1. Alex with a 10-game hitting streak, batting .415 during that hitting streak, and a lot of power. 5 home runs and 6 doubles during that stretch. one back. It's 3-2. Lopez just 24 years old. Made 8 starts with the White Sox last year. This year making his 18th start of the year, his 11th on the road. Three-two pitch just misses, ball 4. Alan Porter tells the White Sox dugout it was just a little outside. Bregman draws a 1-out walk. That is his 52nd walk of the year.
MD Anderson strike zone. It's a pretty good pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch. It's Alex Bregman getting the player of the month zone.
Like that.
So does Alex.
Player of the month for the month of June. Gets a close call. It goes his way. He's now 5th in the AL in walks. 4th overall in lowest chase percentage. That one could have been called a strike. Here's Altuve. Jose with a home run last night. His 8th of the season. 5 of his 8 home runs have come here at Minute Maid Park. It was his first on the year against a left-handed pitcher. .116 hits to start the night for Altuve. Boasted all the major leagues.
Trying to get inside on Jose Altuve, and he may have set up Rodon on this pitch because that was a good fastball inside, maybe 94 miles an hour, and he absolutely turned on it. And you talked about the home runs here at Minute Maid Park. You see a majority of them have ended up on those train tracks too. 417 feet on that one last night.
I know the last 3 have. A 2 home run game in the last homestand, and then last night all ending up by Bobby Dynamite up there on the train tracks. He has not hit many wall scrapers. And he's got a good count here at 2-0. There's a strike. Lopez pitching here for the first time. Not many ABs for the Astros against Lopez. The lone run knocked in that previous start was by a guy who's currently on the DL, Carlos Correa. Two and two the count. As throws that slider around 84 generally. The changeup comes in around 83, 84 as well. Curveball hasn't been throwing very much this year.
Again, another young pitcher trying to mix in a couple of different pitches to keep the hitters off balance. Did a good job with that changeup on the reigning MVP.
Since June 1, that slider chase percentage has been amongst the best in the American League. Saw Altuve miss one on the previous pitch. Jose struck out on a slider last night with the bases loaded in the ninth, but then Yuli Gurriel picked him up to win the game.
It's not an overly aggressive move by Lopez going over to first base, just kind of slinging it. But at the same time, he's not really gaining ground towards first base. Kind of a funky move.
His first move was a little different, and neither one was very impressive. Here goes Bregman. The pitch is grounded towards Moncada, who's going to look at second. Instead, he makes the play to first. Thought about it for a brief second when Moncada took the easier play, and Bregman gets to second with 2 away.
Almost a great job by Jose Altuve with Bregman running. The second baseman going over to cover almost left that hole wide open. It was actually a really good job by Moncada holding his ground. We've seen Rougned Odor kind of run over to second base early, opening that up, and Moncada did a good job of holding his ground and enabling himself to make that play.
Here's Yuli Gurriel, hero of last night's game. At least the one that finished the game with his first major league walk-off. He's hit into right field with the bases loaded and 1 out. Yuli starts the night with the best batting average with runners in scoring position at .420 in the American League. Mentioned Moncada and how he held his ground as a guy who played some second base. You're trying to ease your way towards the bag, it's just making sure you beat the runner.
Well, I had the best infield coach in the business in Perry Hill when I was in Montreal, and I was learning how to play some of these positions. I played primarily shortstop coming up, a little bit of second base, but when I got to the big leagues and worked with Perry Hill, it was learning how not to give up that space. And it was basically 2 steps in, read the pitch in the contact zone, and then go to the bag.
That's what Moncada did successfully to be able to retire Altuve, and now Gurriel retired on a pop-up to end the inning.
Gooch, as you see him being helped onto the field today before the game, throwing out the first pitch. Cameron battling a rare form of cancer. You might remember him from last year. We told the story on AT&T Sportsnet. He was an Astro for a day thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and the Houston Astros. So good to see him back again today for his 10th birthday, having a birthday party here. AJ Hinch, Evan Gaddis, Will Harris there helping him out. Nicely done by Cameron. What a thrill for the Astros fan, guys.
Yeah, it was great to watch the pregame ceremonies with the first pitch. You could see he was disappointed he didn't throw one on the fly to his buddy Will, and then
I thought it was a great reaction. He had high expectations and bounced it, but that was awesome to see.
Really cool to see the umpires too. After the lineup cards were exchanged, they walked over and they're focused on getting ready for the game. But we mentioned on the recent road trip out of Kansas City where the umpires had a children's hospital visit. These guys do a lot of things outside of getting booed by the fans and being criticized by the announcers. It was good to see them also give Cameron a little visit.
Yeah, they've got good hearts and good opportunities that they take advantage of to help everybody else out.
This crew, we will see everybody get a turn behind home plate with a 4-game series. Tonight it's Alan Porter's turn.
You're excited about tomorrow.
I am. Swing and a miss. Avisail Garcia goes down on the curveball for strikeout number 2 for Lance. I might have miscalled that. He has the 4 fingers on that. That's the change piece.
Yeah, that's the circle. Good change of pace. And again, it's that good arm action. Pull the string on it. That's close to 8-9 miles an hour off the pitch. And there you see the difference between the fastball and change. And that is the difference. When you have good arm speed and that change in the speeds of the pitch, that's how you get that swing and miss well out in front.
Well, the fastball's relatively the same. It's still around low 94s, 91, 94.1, 94.2, depending on when you look at his numbers. It's the changeup that he's really, as you saw that differentiation, he's really been able to manipulate. Instead of throwing it almost 89 miles an hour on average, it's now around 87. There's the patented swing and miss on the curveball. I think I got that one right. Federovich makes the throw down to first to retire Daniel Palka. 3 consecutive strikeouts for McCullers.
There's that curveball release. See that spin rate created by pulling down on that pitch. But the way that Lance's curveball comes out of his hand, it doesn't pop up. Some of those more traditional 12-6 breaking balls, those north-south breaking balls like a Will Harris, kind of jump up out of the hand immediately and then break. But his comes straight out, kind of mimics the fastball early on and then breaks down out of the zone.
Matt Davidson takes a pitch outside and low for a ball. Davidson the DH. We got a lot of pop in their lineup from Abreu all the way down through Davidson.
These guys are large too.
Yeah, they could
big humans.
Definitely be an offensive line if you needed them to. Even their catcher on deck, Kevin Smith's a big boy.
We've got StatCast for you. It's powered by AWS. You can see that shift employed against Matt Davidson. Altuve on that shortstop side of the bag.
Two and two the count. Astros going with the orange tops tonight. Some of the guys have the orange shoes to match. Lance, as you would expect, stylish as always, has the matching shoes. Swing and a miss. The changeup with 2 strikeouts of the 3 this inning. The other was on that power curve. McCullers strolls off the mound after striking out the side.
Stropole. Follow us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW and make sure to vote, pin tweet. Which ninth inning at bat was the biggest key to last night's Astros walk-off win? Was it Tony Kemp in the leadoff walk, George Springer tying things up, Alex Bregman who loaded the bases drawing the walk, or La Pina, the game winner? Vote. We'll tell you who wins later in the broadcast. TK.
All right, Julia. Thank you. Too bad there's not space for 5.
Yeah, can you just say yes?
Yes.
To all of them.
Josh Reddick with a base hit into right field. Nothing new there for Josh. Hit at Minute Maid Park, playing his 100th game here as an Astro. Coming in, hitting .345 in those previous 99 games at home.
You can beat the shift. Just hit it where they ain't.
Reddick with a leadoff hit here in the second inning. First hit for the Astros. You could make an argument that the most important hitter in that sequence last night was Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You could almost use a 5th choice because Marwin's base hit put runners on first and third with nobody out in a 1-run game. And he was down 0-2 in the count.
Yeah, pinch hit, too. It's not an easy AB.
Broke his bat. He had been struggling on the recent road trip and came through last night. Evan Gattis, the batter. Evan coming in with a team leading 57 runs batted in and is tied for 6th in the American League. Down and away, it's 2-0. Lopez walked 1 in the first inning, got a couple of ground ball outs. White Sox have lost 6 out of 8 in this recent stretch. One of their 2 wins was when Lopez started against the Rangers in his last start, a 7-2 win. He went 7.
Yep, that was a quality start for him. He's got 4 quality starts in his last 6. That was a very good outing for him. Didn't give up a home run in that game.
Pitched into the 7th, didn't finish the 7th, but did well. Yeah, he had a stretch there with 5 straight starts from late May till early June without allowing a home run. Astros did not hit a home run against him in his previous start this year. Most important thing right now for the White Sox, Rick Renteria and his staff, is finding the pieces of the puzzle that they hope they can win with in the next few years. A lot of people felt they would make a jump up this year. It has not worked out well for them. They are currently just ahead of the Kansas City Royals in the AL Central and own one of the worst records in all of baseball. White Sox playing at a .345 winning percentage. That is second lowest other than the Royals. And the Baltimore Orioles, third lowest. Swing and a miss. Gattis, after being ahead of the count 2-0, goes down swinging. And Blummer right now, in terms of playing the Central, the Mariners, who are a game and a half behind the Astros, have played the AL Central a lot more.
And you got to give credit to the Seattle Mariners. They've played a bunch of baseball against that American League Central, where there's a lot of teams that aren't very good in that division. Minnesota Twins compete, but below that it gets a little rough with Detroit, Chicago, and Kansas City, but they maximize the effort against those guys, going 21-8. But the Astros still have plenty of baseball left to play against the Detroit Tigers.
Tigers will be in town before the All-Star break. Yeah, the Central has 4 of their 5 teams at least 12 games under 500, with the Kansas City Royals being 36 games under 500. Runner on the move, pitch down, and it is a stolen base for Josh Reddick. He goes in head first with stolen base number 5 of the season.
The Astros are taking advantage of Lopez being slow to home plate. Tough for Kevin Smith to pop out of there and make that throw. A lot of people asking about that oven mitt. Why is it on that left hand? Because it leads into that bag. That's that one they're going to stretch out for, and they protect it as they go into that bag. Would imagine keeps it from jamming the fingers in there and being stepped on.
I would think it's an acquired skill that it would seem to be harder to grip the bag once you slide into it.
Looks like a very unique ping pong paddle.
2-0 the count to Marwin. Marwin drills one deep to right center field. All the way back is Engel. He can cover a lot of ground back there and makes the play. Adam Engel made that look easy as Reddick tags and goes to third.
It was a good swing by Marwin, but I think even he would admit he didn't get the best of that baseball. But you're right, Engel can flat go get it. Center cut fastball up a little bit. See if we can pick up where it hits on that barrel on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Maybe in off the label just a hair. But Marwin shouldn't be upset with that swing, and actually the decision to swing at that pitch is a good one too.
Now Tim Fedorovich bats with a runner on third and 2 outs. Fedorovich has scored a couple of runs in his time with the Astros, 3 for 14, still looking for his first RBI of the season. He was hitting well at AAA for the Fresno Grizzlies, batting .328 with an OPS of .964. Breaking ball for his strike. It's 1-1. Fedorovich with his second stint with the Astros. Was up earlier from May 29th through June 8th. This will be a more extended stay, you would imagine. Brian McCann on the DL and having surgery. Inside is 2-1. That one out in front a little bit and drill it into the stands. It's 2-2.
It's another tough part. When you're not playing every day, it's tough to recognize and be patient enough to let that ball get deep on you a little bit so you can hammer it. You can see the eyes of Fedorovich got real big when he saw that pitch hanging out over the plate.
Popped high in the air into left field. Palka comes in, and the left fielder makes the play for the final out. So the Astros with a leadoff base hit, strand a runner. It's still scoreless. Sport dealers, Justin Verlander with another strong outing last night. 10 strikeouts without a walk. That's the third time as an Astro he has done that. Verlander went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs. Ended up as a no decision. The Astros and White Sox were tied at 2 when he left the game. But in his 19th start of the season, he is putting up numbers that not only are close to his Cy Young MVP season 2011, they're actually better. 7 years later, age 35, Verlander getting it done. Pretty good company right there. That's a nice group of right-handers.
Yeah, that would be a tough weekend.
Pitch misses inside to Kevin Smith to start the inning.
And it still amazes me. We're not numb to it, but we get a little complacent, at least I do, in watching these guys go out and pitch. And you're like, 10 strikeouts, no walks. It's what Justin Verlander does. And then you show up the next day and you show the highlights you just showed and you put the numbers up there and you go, man, he punched out 10 guys, didn't walk one. I mean, that's not tough to do.
No, his consistency over about 25 regular season starts now has been phenomenal. That's why the little blip Tropicana Field against the Rays seems so unusual. That was the first time and still only time he's pitched all year with the bases loaded. That's crazy to think about, that he went the entire season without a bases loaded situation until start number 18. Counts 1-2 on Kevin Smith. Trying to hold up, and he does, as Angel Hernandez at first. That ball hits Smith. McCullers allows his first base runner on a 2-strike hit batter.
Hit him with a changeup. Certain change. Just released out of the hand a little bit too quick. It's a good idea. On that rotation, you guys at home can pick it up. That's that rotation that really creates that run. Just adds another element to how tough that pitch can be sometimes.
Round to bunt as Leury Garcia takes a called strike. Garcia gave the White Sox a lead last night with a home run in the 8th inning with 1 out against Chris Davinsky. White Sox would carry that lead into the bottom of the 9th before the Astros would walk it off with 2. Again around a bunt, and that was not a great attempt. It's 0-2. Bunting's never easy, especially when a lot of teams don't practice it very much. And then you have Lance McCullers out there on the mound who spins that power curve at you. Makes it a little more difficult. Caught the outside corner, called 3rd strike. Garcia goes down on 3 pitches, a couple of bunt attempts, and then a called strike.
Yeah, that was not a comfortable AB. Backdooring that pitch, wanted it down and in, but still with that break, as a hitter you give up on it when it's off the outside corner, but enough spin to bring that back on the outside corner and get the call.
Now here's Adam Engel. Engel's pushed that batting average up 8 for his last 23 in his last 7 games. Tries to hold up on the breaking ball and goes around. It's 0-1. I think every time Fedorovich catches McCullers, and yes, they all paired up at one point or another in spring training, but every start now is 3rd time with Lance, gets a little more comfortable.
It should. It's all about experience and working with the guy and the conversations that go on. But a luxury to work with some of these guys that have great stuff.
Remember the first start Lance had with Fedorovich behind the plate. There was a couple of cross-ups early in that game. They were able to work it out early on, but the first inning was a little bit scary. Swing and a miss. Curveball seems to be on. It's 1-2.
Curveball check, swing, fastball up out of the zone, and then a curveball down. Does he stay with that sequence, or does he just throw the curveball down to get the swing and miss?
Swing and a miss at the curveball.
Good pitch. Check out all the exciting July events and promotions at Minute Maid Park, including Kids Day, an Altuve Youth replica jersey, and a Verlander K-Counter bobblehead. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and a full list of events.
Here's Yohan Moncada. Lance has 6 strikeouts, first time through the lineup. Those strikeouts in this inning have been on the curveball. 3 of the 6 so far in the game. Speaking of strikeouts, Yohan Moncada leads all of baseball with 123 strikeouts. He flied out to left his first time up. Takes inside, it's 2-0. Moncada, 23 years old. Has all of his power this year as a left-hand hitter, all 11 of his home runs. There's a strike.
Again, StatCast helping us out, explaining why the Astros shift. And there you have it, in his last 100 events that have been put in play to that pull side. So you've basically got 3 guys in those quadrants or those triangles on the right-hand side. Yuli does have to hold that runner on, but he'll shuffle out there and cover a little more area.
Called third strike. Caught the outside edge. Lance McCullers Jr. striking out 3 for the second consecutive inning. His last 7 outs have been strikeouts. Segment heats up July, and Tony Kemp is wired for sound. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded tonight after the postgame show right here on AT&T Sportsnet. Tony Kemp will lead things off for the Astros. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. Facing Reynaldo Lopez. How about Lance McCullers Jr.? 6 strikeouts the last couple of innings.
That last inning was impressive. Just all over the edges with that curveball for a couple of looking strikeouts.
Well, Tony Kemp leading off usually leads to good things. We heard that from Julia before the game. Kemp led off in the 9th inning last night, down 1, scored the tying run on the George Springer base hit as he drew a walk after being down in the count last night.
He's done a good job leading off innings for the Astros. The batting average at 269 doesn't scream that he's raking, but it's the on-base percentage that you like to see. 367 when he's leading off the inning. So he's getting those walks and creating ways to get on base.
Fastball for a strike. It's 2-1. Lopez so far has allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. He has struck out 1. You know, Adam Engel's pretty comfortable with his ability to go back on baseballs to center field because he's about as shallow in center as we will see anybody play.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention and see if that changes hitter by hitter. Tony Kemp, not a guy that destroys baseballs, but still, that is incredibly shallow.
Tony Kemp thought that 3-1 pitch was a ball, and he was about a third of the way down the line. Alan Porter said, not quite.
It's a pretty good pitch.
There's ball 4. Tony Kemp with a leadoff walk in the 3rd.
The Shiner Box spotlight falls on George Springer. Hasn't been getting a lot of hits, but he's been taking some away. That's where the back kind of flared up on him a little bit on a great dive in Tampa Bay on that turf. But that was last night. You can see him pound that glove. Led to good things later on with the bat. Snuck one in there, driving in that tying run. And you got to love the smile. Even through everything he's gone through, not going to rip that smile off George's face.
Kemp on the move. Springer takes a strike, and Tony has a stolen base. Tony Kemp with his 4th steal of the year goes on the first pitch to Springer.
Wasn't even close. That's a great jump.
Kemp had 13 steals while at Fresno. Stealing a base here with the strike to Springer. Well, George is one of the most emotive players you'll see on the field, and you saw some of those emotions during the course of this streak. Julia, it's been a little rough stretch here for Springer, but he has battled through it.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, last night, the smile that you just saw right there and all of his teammates smiling right back at him. And he even mentioned just the support that his teammates have had for him. And A.J. Hinch has been huge in that, too, sticking with him. A.J. said again today the toughest part of his job as a manager, you know, besides things that happen on the field, is working through struggles with players, because everyone does it differently. Everyone struggles differently. Some guys are just lost. Some guys are unlucky. You've got to figure that out and play psychologists a little bit. It's a cruel game, and you have to explain that to them too. But AJ, being a player, can relate. He has great relationships with everyone, including Springer. But to see him come up big last night was huge for everyone in that dugout who roots for George constantly.
Hard not to root for this guy. 0-2 pitch to him is inside for a ball. It's 1-2. George, in the post-game interview with Julia, said the reason he got dumped on with a little Powerade by Tony Kemp was because he got a hit.
That was a fun little celebration beyond the celebration of the walk-off win.
Well, hopefully this will lead to good things for George, who grounded out his first time up. Pickoff attempt, and Kemp would lead it too far. The White Sox able to pick off Kemp for the first out of the inning.
Timed it perfectly. Lopez spun and threw right there when he saw it. Tony Kemp leaning, kind of shuffling out there a little bit. Tough to get back. Good play by the White Sox.
Upstairs it's 2-2. Kemp steals second, but then he's picked off. And he's jammed his helmet into the helmet rack. A little half swing and a foul ball.
You know, you were talking about Adam Engel out there in center field, and our good friend Darren Wilmans must be paying attention because he just tweeted out that Engel plays the shallowest center field in Major League Baseball, an average of 308 feet.
Even now with George batting, he is nowhere close to where we normally see a center fielder with Springer's power.
Yeah, and we talk about Minute Maid Park being a pitcher's park, but center field is a massive center field here at Minute Maid Park. There's a lot of room to go back. Got to cover some areas out there in the gaps.
A ball sent into the gap, but not far enough as Avisail Garcia drifts over and makes the play. Springer flies out to right for out number 2. Well, Engel's kind of the StatCast golden boy. He's about as fast as they get. He's on the sprint speed leaderboard as the top 5 guy, and outs above average. He's also top 3 or 5. His offense still coming around. That's the one area of his game why he doesn't play every day that still is gaining ground, but the rest of it.
We saw a couple of superstar catches over the last year, not so much this year, but last year he took away a home run out in Chicago, scaling that fence out there in center field. But yeah, he's got some crazy speed.
Strike to Alex Bregman. So just like last night, the Astros with runners in every inning early, but unable to do anything with it so far. 95-mile-an-hour fastball gets Alex Bregman.
Good thing he wears that little bit of an elbow pad. You hope it catches most of it, but a high velocity coming in there just above it on that left tricep. But if you're a young hitter at home, it's good to see a guy like Alex Bregman turn to the inside, turn your back to the pitcher, get those hands out of the way.
Bregman on base twice tonight, walking now, a hit by pitch, and that'll bring up Jose Altuve. Altuve in his last 13 starts here at Minute Maid Park hitting .400, and it hit in all 13 of those games. Bregman was on the move last time with Altuve batting, so they checked him at first. Alex was leaning a little bit. Alex Cintron, who always watches very closely for pickoff moves and times to home plate, was a little nervous when he saw Bregman break the wrong way, but he's able to get back. Chop foul off the bat of Jose. It's 0-2. Astros scoring 4 runs last night after that 3-3 road trip where they were averaging just under 3 runs per game. They've now averaged 3 runs per game over the last 7. White Sox usually allow a lot of runs on the road, almost 6 per game. Stays 0-2. Lopez with runners on base really changes his pace.
Might be an understatement, Todd.
Abreu had to pick that one out of the dirt. That was not a very good pickoff attempt.
I think Alex Cintron is talking to Angel Hernandez about that move, because Lopez doesn't necessarily square up to first base as he's throwing over there. Kind of throws across his body. But you've got to make a discernible move towards first.
There's a ball in the center field for a base hit. Bregman has the play right in front of him and holds up at second. Altuve with a single, 14 straight games with a hit at home.
Jose Altuve doing Jose Altuve things. Ball sliding away from him, but he keeps the barrel on it and shoots it right over the second base umpire's head for a base hit into center field.
Outside pitches, high pitches. He's on the top 10 leaderboards in a lot of different categories, but those outside pitches he's been able to handle as Yuli fouls one back.
Yeah, that's a good number, but on pitches alone, he's hitting 333. He's a remarkable hitter.
Yuli is too. Outside pitches, inside pitches, the ones that are giving him problems this year, the ones down the middle. It's crazy that he's on one of the lowest 10 hitters on middle pitches, but on the top 10 leaderboards in a lot of other categories. Yuli with another opportunity with runners in scoring position. Astros tickets for this weekend's games against the White Sox start as low as $11. Come see Altuve, Morton, Springer. AL Player of the Month, Alex Bregman. For the best deal of the season, $11 for tickets. Still available at astros.com/tickets. It's now 71 at-bats for Gurriel with runners in scoring position with the 2 tonight. Only Marwin with 74 ABs. He's batted more times with a runner at second or third.
And Yuli missed a little bit of time starting out the season too, so pretty impressive.
Away, it's 1-1. Up and in, 2-1. Lopez has thrown 23 pitches this inning. It's been a 14-minute-half inning as Lopez, with runners on base, takes his time. That's a base hit through the hole in the left field. Around third comes Bregman, and Alex will score. Astros lead 1-0 on Yuli Gurriel with his 41st RBI of the year.
Good job by Yuli. Again, runners in scoring position. That wrist number we keep talking about, gets a hanging slider, gets on top of it, and hits a rocket into left field. Palka stayed back on it. Alex Bregman scores easy. You could see Jose Altuve stopping at second base, and I think a lot of the reason was he didn't think that Palka was going to go home with that throw.
Good read by Altuve. Here's Josh Reddick. Walker playing left field for the last 5 games. Prior to that, he had been in right exclusively with Avisail Garcia on the DL. Reddick with a base hit his first time up. Out off the catcher Smith. It's 0-2. So the Astros doing all this with 2 outs and nobody on. Bregman hit by a pitch, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Altuve is single to center. And Yuli Gurriel base hit into left. Short, fielded there by Garcia. Leori Garcia makes the play for the final out. The Astros on the board first, lead it 1-0.
Through 3, Lance McCullers Jr. He's just faced 1 over the minimum. So 10, he's got 7 strikeouts. Curveball looks good. Changeup looks good. Fastball command looks good for Lance so far. So he's off to a great start. And we saw this, guys, in Tampa, where he was dominant against the Rays. And so much of it had to do with his ability to come out in those first few innings and have the command and have all of his pitches, really, but just have the confidence right out of the gate for him, something he's been working on for years now, being able to get through those first couple of innings, and he's done that now in back-to-back starts. Things are trending the right way for Lance, guys.
They certainly are. Lance trying to win his 10th game of the season. He's never won 9 before, so double digits would be some new territory for him, and he continues to pitch well. Here's a ground ball towards Altuve's left. He makes the play on Yomer Sanchez, who's retired for the 2nd straight time on a ground ball.
Last time Abreu was up facing Lance McCullers, he threw a breaking ball early, missed, got a little bit better with that breaking ball, but the third one finally gets it over the plate, and then a fastball painted on the outside corner, and then puts him away down and in with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and Abreu knew it. That was a great example of pitching backwards with the soft stuff early and then putting him away with the heat.
Almost like Abreu kept anticipating the curveball, and he just couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's when you go back to the dugout and Carlos Lee looks at you and goes, "Didn't break, did it?" He said, "Nope."
Abreu in the month of June hit .212, and he's batting .191 over his last 37 games as he fouls one out of play. It's 0-2.
Well, it's kind of interesting in that last AB 2-0. He got the curveball, and he may have been sitting on it, but he's not sitting on it in that 2-0 count. Goes to 2-1. Might have been sitting on the breaking ball again. Got a fastball, and then he's saying he's got to try and strike me out with the curveball. Painted him inside with a fastball. So it was good thinking and good execution by Lance.
Now he throws him an 0-2 changeup, and Abreu able to get a piece of it.
That he saved until the second AB.
McCullers got 2 strikeouts with a changeup in the second. Lance did not strike out many White Sox first time he faced them. Just 3 strikeouts on April 22nd in 6 innings. Tonight he has 7. Bounces in the dirt. It's 1-2. Lance's 2 previous starts with Tim Fedorovich behind the plate. 4 strikeouts against the Red Sox and 4 strikeouts against the Mariners in 6 innings. Tonight he has been on his game with the strikeouts, but Abreu staying alive at 1-2.
Yeah, Abreu doing a good job of fighting in this AB, knowing that he's probably got to do a little bit better job of fending off some of these pitches because he's unable to predict what Lance is going to try and do to him.
Two and 2 the count. Just a piece to stay alive. Lance working on 6 days rest with that shuffle in the rotation. Last pitched a week ago tonight in St. Petersburg against the Tampa Bay Rays. Verlander and Cole staying on normal rest. Lance getting it up a couple extra days. 96-mile-an-hour fastball tailing in for the strikeout. That's now 8 for Lance.
Talked about the nasty curveball Abreu fought off the pitch before, and then Lance went up in the zone. We don't see that too often, but at 96 up in the zone, not even Abreu can catch up to it.
Now face Aviciel Garcia. Only 1 base runner tonight for the White Sox. Kevin Smith was hit by a pitch. Garcia grounds one on 2 hops. Marwin Gonzalez is there. His throw in time. Lance a 1-2-3 inning. He is sailing along with a 1-0 lead.
Experience with Astros home screen icons and features like MLB.tv, game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
One thing you may have noticed if you follow MLB at Bat is that Evan Gattis has had a good month and a half lately. He has moved up the charts in RBIs, and even though he struck out his first time up against Reynaldo Lopez, one of the things that wasn't happening for him early in the year that is happening now is he makes in-game adjustments pretty well. Evan, the only strikeout victim so far, pops one foul right in front of us. And it's 1-1. So we know which fans will not catch the peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
Yep.
The 7th inning stretch.
I'm taking notes right here. Got to get our scouting report.
Ball's hit through the middle. Base hit. Evan Gattis with a single to lead off the 4th. Another base runner for the Astros. They've had a runner in every inning. Lopez allowing his 4th hit. He's also walked a couple and hit a batter. Here's Marwin. Marwin hit the ball pretty well in the center field, right center to be exact, but Adam Engel tracked it down. Pitch misses low for ball 1. Marwin with that big pinch hit single last night, helping the Astros win that game 4-3. Was following a tough stretch for Marwin where he had just 2 hits on the entire road trip. Showed you right before the game how Marwin and Springer really were key contributors to that inning and had been really scuffling at the plate prior to that. 2-0 the count.
You got your sundial out for this, AB?
I was looking at the old Fangraphs pace. Now, it's not an exact science because you brought up a good point. Justin Verlander's one of the slowest workers because he throws over to first more than any other pitcher. So Verlander finds himself in the top 5 of qualified pitchers in pace, and pace is time on average between each pitch. Believe it or not, Lopez is the 3rd slowest or 3rd quickest, whichever way you want to go, of the 5 in the rotation for the White Sox. Lucas Giolito and James Shields have a slower pace, but this guy may be moving up the charts quickly. Called strike is 3-1.
Trying to get a little extra TV time.
24-year-old out of San Pedro de Macorís. Marwin has all 6 of his home runs as a left-hand hitter this year. And a good count here if he sees a pitch he likes. Chopped the 96-mile-an-hour fastball foul. Now the count's full.
Good swing on a fastball in the previous AB. That one was a little bit further up in the zone. But Marwin's a good fastball hitter when things are going right. Might just take one fastball against Lopez to get him locked back in.
Wonder if AJ feels like sending Evan Gattis here.
Everybody else is running.
Lopez only has 1 strikeout so far tonight.
It's not an aggressive lead.
No, it's not. He's not going. And the pitch is ball 4. Julia.
Hey, Tim Fedorovich comes up here. We're going to get to know him a little bit better. He's one of the newer Astros. So here you go. First team freshman All-America at North Carolina. He was drafted by the Boston Red Sox, 7th rounder in 2008. Traded to the Dodgers in 11 for Eric Bedard. Astros know that name, and traded with Matt Kemp in 14 to head to San Diego. I love that his Twitter handle is FedEx19 because he delivers. That is well done. And when he was called up in the end of May, he actually said that was his 11th time he's been called up. So this would be 12 for him. So no stranger to that road from the big leagues to the minors, but does a really nice job of it. You guys are already a big fan. FedEx. There you go.
All right, more on Tim Nice to have a veteran who's played with 3 different organizations prior to the Astros at the big league level. Dodgers from 11 to 14, Cubs in 2016, and the Giants last year. Not the same amount of time as Max Stassi the last few seasons, where he's just had a few ABs here and there as he takes a called strike. One of the keys to last year's success for the Astros winning 101 games was that when Evan Gattis and Brian McCann were both on the DL, Juan Centeno and Max Stassi came up, and this team didn't miss a beat. I'm not sure if there's a more demanding position. Certainly when your staff's in full, 15 to 20 starts into their season, and you just jump in and all of a sudden you're asked to catch the best staff in baseball.
There is a little bit of pressure involved in that. And we found out last year it takes more than the 25 guys you start with to get through a championship season.
That ball's hit well into right center field, and that'll go all the way towards the wall. Gattis will score easily. Marwin being waved around. He's going to score. 2 RBI double by FedEx, Tim Fedorovich, and it's 3-0.
He delivered. Got to get contributions from everybody. Fedorovich, a little bit of a role player now in that backup role, but we've seen him go to that opposite field with the line drive nicely. I also like that he pulled the cape on it right there and held that position after he knew he was getting a double out of that. But with that ball running away from angle, Marwin Gonzalez scores easy from first, creating a little bit of a cushion now for the Astros.
Fedorovich with his first 2 RBIs as an Astro, and it's now a 3-0 game. Here's Tony Kemp. Kemp takes a pitch up for a ball. Tony walked his first time up. He took a peek just there at the second baseman Moncada to see where he was. Tony can pull bunts and also beat them out for hits. Trying to see if he can move that runner along to third base at the same time. Instead, he slashes one the other way. It's 1-1. Fedorovich in his 4th start with the Astros comes through with a 2 RBI double. Good timing by Julia.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I do.
Did she know her mic was open?
That's right.
Your mic was open.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? She was yelling at the guy in the truck. Open me up. I got something to say.
1-1 pitch is upstairs. Pitchers have a tough time with Kemp. He fouls off a lot of strikes. He does not leave the zone very often. He presents a smallish target up there for pitchers to try and hit, and he has been getting on base at a clip second to only Jose Altuve on this team. Obviously in fewer plate appearances, but still Kemp's turning that lineup over probably as well as anybody we've seen this year.
Over 100 at-bats into his season, so I think we've got a pretty good idea of who Tony Kemp is. But he is a tough out, likes to get on base.
Stole a base in the 3rd inning, but then was picked off, and that 3-1 pitch catches the edge. It's 3-2. Well, the White Sox didn't want to get the bullpen stirring early tonight, but they may not have a choice, as Lopez is up to 75 pitches in the 4th. Still doesn't have an out in this inning. Chris Volstad, the right-hander, starting to warm up in the White Sox bullpen. That is a weary bullpen in terms of usage lately. they may be having to go to it earlier than Rick Renteria hoped for tonight.
Yeah, their fan graphs pitch usage chart is lit up like a Christmas tree.
It's strong to quite strong, as you like to say.
Wow.
3-2 pitch hit well into center field. Engel, who plays shallow, will go all the way back. Federovich will tag and get to third easily. Kemp gave it a good ride. He does advance the runner on the deep fly ball to center.
Good applause from the crowd, too, acknowledging a pretty good AB by Tony Kemp. Engel out there in center field, recognizing that Tony Kemp got this pretty good. And with it being that deep, gave FedEx a chance to get back there and tag up and move up an extra 90 feet. It's a great AB.
Now the infield has to come in. White Sox trying to cut off this run. It's already 3-0 with Springer batting with 1 out and a runner on third. Springer talking post-game last night, saying he knew he had to some way, somehow get that runner in the 9th inning. He batted with a first and third, nobody out situation. Ended up picking up a hit, his only hit of the night. 0 for 2 tonight for George with a ground out and a fly out to right. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Astros saw 28 pitches last inning. They're up to 21 this inning. Lopez has been out there the last couple of innings throwing a lot of pitches. As this one is grounded towards short. Federovich thought about it but stayed at third as Springer grounds out for the second out.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us some league leaders. Players with 15+ home runs and more walks than strikeouts. So they slug well, don't strike out a lot. Jose Ramirez, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and yours truly, Alex Bregman, on that list with 16 home runs now, 52 walks and 49 strikeouts. That is very tough to do. That's an elite crowd right there.
I like that. That's a nice list to be a part of.
Believe it.
And Ramirez with those impressive numbers might be the reason that Alex Bregman won't get to start in the All-Star game, but we should hopefully see Alex as a reserve. Find out on Sunday night for sure.
He would be entertaining in an All-Star clubhouse.
Yeah, that's a good point. He would have a blast. 1-1 to count.
He would be one of those guys that I think around the league attracts some attention, both good and maybe sometimes a little bit edgy. But a lot of guys I think would like to get to know a guy like Alex Bregman because we know him and he's awesome.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
There's a little edge to him that I really enjoy.
It would be interesting if he and Trevor Bauer are AL All-Star teammates.
Who's Trevor?
Tyler.
Oh, that guy.
1-1 pitch is fouled back. That's a possibility the way Bauer's gone.
Absolutely.
Garrett Cole also could very well be part of that All-Star roster. We'll find out on Sunday night, but we anticipate there will be a handful of Astros heading to D.C. with A.J. Hinch and his coaching staff. Maybe more than a handful. Swing and a miss. Foul tip caught by Kevin Smith for the final out of the inning. So the Astros score 2.
But a big swing by FedEx. Pitch leaking out over the plate, stays on it, goes the other way, and dresses it up for a 2-run double.
AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Rooms to Go. Huge savings on living rooms, bedrooms, and more during our Hot Buy sale. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. Back at Minute Maid Park on a Friday night, a big and bright Friday night. Lance McCullers Jr. now working with a 3-run lead as the Astros scoring 1 in the third, 2 more in the fourth. McCullers will face the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the White Sox: Daniel Palka, Matt Davidson, and Kevin Smith. Palka struck out on a curveball his first time up. Fedorovich had to make the throw down to first as the ball got away. And he fouls one away. Lance with 8 strikeouts so far coming into this inning. Through 4 innings, had only thrown 54 pitches. Just 13.5 pitches per inning. He came into tonight with his best pitches per inning mark of his career.
StatCast showing you why the Astros are playing that shift again. Lot to the pull side from Palka. .4 pitches per inning for Lance. His best of his young career. And he's still picking up strikeouts tonight, but keeping that pitch count in check. 2-2 count here to Palka. What the curveball looks like. They get the curveball and they get the strikeout. That's 9 for McCullers in the first out of the 5th. Have we told you recently that the curveball of Lance McCullers is good? It was very good last start, and it seems like he's still got the feel for it in this start early.
There was a point in the season, not that long ago, where he said, if anybody's seen my curveball.
That's true. I remember that.
Can you please return it? But
it's back.
Yeah, it's been back the last few starts. And now he's got the changeup to go along with that 4-seamer and 2-seamer. It's quite an arsenal for this 24-year-old. Matt Davidson, the batter, he struck out on a changeup his first time up. 2-0 count. Lance still gets 68% of his strikeouts on the curveball. Tonight has 9 of them overall, but only 1 of his first 4 was on the curve. Gets a swing and a miss there. It's 2-1. It was funny when Garrett Cole was interviewed about what he has learned from each pitcher in this rotation in his first go round with the Astros. He had great comments about, obviously he knew Morton the longest from their days back in Pittsburgh. He mentioned something about, Verlander's preparation and Keuchel's awareness and his ability to manipulate it. He said the one thing I've learned from Lance is you can throw a curveball in any count.
And you can throw as many as you want in a row if need be.
2-2 pitch is a ground ball towards short. Weekly hit. Marwin is there. Makes the play for the second out of the inning.
Are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Louisiana, July is your month to show your spirit. Use hashtag UltimateSWFanLA on Twitter to show us, and you could win a jersey and a VIP experience. So tweet now and win big.
2 outs, base is empty. The only guy who has reached base is at the plate right now, Kevin Smith. He was hit on a 2-2 changeup. And he's almost hit again. That one not quite as close, but it's inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Nine strikeouts, 4 ground ball outs. The only out in the air tonight. A fly ball by Yohan Moncada on the first pitch of the game. On one hop, Altuve makes a nice play to his left, and Lance has another 1-2-3 inning. 9 in a row sent down by McCullers. It's 3-0 Houston.
Energy. Jose Altuve working to make it 5 consecutive seasons with 200+ hits. Has 4 consecutive 200+ hit seasons under his belt already.
Altuve with 117 hits on this season. Coming in on pace for 211 this year. Altuve a single as part of that 3rd inning where the Astros scored their first run. Lopez is approaching 90 pitches on the night. He's had to throw 54 the last couple of innings. He's a guy that usually doesn't go too far over 100, so after a season high 114 in his last start, we'll see if he goes beyond the 5th tonight. Ground ball foul.
Getting 200+ hits in a season is not that easy. Since 2014, we see Altuve with 4 of them. D. Gordon has 2 seasons in 15 and 17. That was with the Miami Marlins. The rest of Major League Baseball, it's only happened 6 times. So Altuve, a huge chunk of those 200 hit seasons, looking for his 5th this season. Just to put things in perspective.
One towards short. It's fair to say the baton's been passed. Altuve almost beats out that routine ground ball. That is unbelievable that he even made that a play. And Leury Garcia didn't take that much time getting rid of it. AJ's going to have him look at it. Altuve may have earned himself a hit.
He was safe. But Leury Garcia took his sweet time over there, and Altuve took advantage of it. This is how you go out there and get 200+. Hustle. Just that little hesitation allows you enough time for Jose Altuve to get there and beat it. It's a base hit.
So that'll be a little hustle base hit for number 118 on the year. But you think about the best hitters in baseball for a while there. Ichiro was undoubtedly hands down the best, and I think that baton's been passed. Before him, there was a Tony Gwynn, a Wade Boggs. Now this guy.
Yeah, he can flat out fly. And he can smell hits too, and it's nice to be able to have the wheels to change gears and get those hits.
200 hit seasons are not easy.
No.
Ask every Astro that played in their history before Altuve.
Yep.
Fans here react to the replay on the big board. And we're going to get the call here from the crew chief, Bill Miller. 2 for 3 nights so far for Altuve with that infield hit. Broken bat towards short. The second for 1, and Yuli flying down the line, but unable to beat that out. That is the 88th double play the Astros been into this year. That's the most in baseball.
Just wouldn't be an Astros game if there wasn't a double play.
Yuli batting with a runner on first, not in scoring position, and grounds it to the double play. Here's Josh Reddick. Really knocked in a run his first time up. Reddick is 1 for 2 with a single. Takes a strike. Your buddy Miguel Tejado had a season with 199 hits.
Oh.
But only Craig Biggio 1 season of a 200 hit campaign in his career, and Altuve has 4 in a row and maybe 5. He's certainly well on pace this year. So every Astros player prior to Altuve won. This guy ended up with 3,000.
Derek Bell had a season of 198. He shut it down after that.
That was a 98.
Couldn't resist.
And a walk to Reddick, who reaches base for the second time tonight. Astros have drawn their share of walks already in this series. Last night starter Carlos Rodon walked 6. Eventually the Astros would draw 9 walks on the night. Tonight they've been walked 4 times. Here's Evan Gattis. Biggio's season with 200 hits was 1998. Here you mentioned Derek Bell, just missed.
Yeah.
210 for Big in 98. Evan Gattis 1 for 2, singled and scored a run. Bullpen back up for the White Sox. Having 31 runs batted in his last 27 games. Reddick stole a base back in the second inning. Stays here, and it's 3-0. Well, Lopez, approaching 100 pitches, has not had great command all night long. 53 strikes, 43 out of the zone.
Doesn't help the pace that you're talking about when runners get on base, when you're throwing a lot of balls too, because those counts end up running to those 3-ball counts quite a bit.
He's had 4 other games this year where he's walked 4 and 1 game where he walked 5. Walked 4 Astros in his start in 5 innings back in April in Chicago. That is the 5th walk of the night allowed by Reynaldo Lopez. The 24-year-old has matched his season and his career high. And that could be the last batter he sees. Infield hit and a couple of walks in the 5th. Rick Renteria out of the dugout. Bullpen action waving. They say Chris Volstad is ready if you need him. Astros leading 3-0. Renteria will take the ball from his young starter and we'll have a pitching change.
Covered the infield. Showed some sock. Sugar. You know who that Astro is. You know what to do. You tweet at ATT Sportsnet SW with your answer, and you stay tuned to find out who it is later in this ball game. Name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. With that pitching change, the White Sox bring in Chris Volstad.
Volstad, 31-year-old righty, taking over for Reynaldo Lopez. He's a guy that's in the zone more than any other reliever for the White Sox. They could use that right now after Lopez walked the last 2 batters and walked 5 in the game, also hit a batter. Appearing in his 29th game, first batter he will face is Marwin Gonzalez. Throw fastball, curveball, changeup. An occasional slider, but not very often. The fastball comes in around 92. Marwin has flied out deep to center field and also walked and scored a run. He scored from first on a double by Tim Fedorovich. Now he bats with Josh Reddick on second and Evan Gattis on first. Fouls the first pitch from Volstad back. Astros with 6 hits. They've also reached base 6 times without a hit. Trying to add to this 3-0 lead. Reynaldo Lopez goes 4 2/3 innings tonight. And the bullpen ought to soak up at least 3 1/3. There are a lot of arms out there, as Blummer said earlier, referencing the Fangraphs pitcher usage that have been used often over the last 4, 5, 6 days for Chicago.
This guy right here is throwing 117 pitches in the last 7 days.
2-1. Well, unless you get reinforcements, you gotta play the hand you're dealt. And last night the White Sox saw an opportunity to kind of steal a win. They were down 2-0, tied up the game against Justin Verlander, then took the lead. So maybe on a night when Rick Renteria was thinking, well, Justin Verlander's on the mound, if he deals against us and we have don't have to use our key bullpen guys, but it was flipped around where they had to use their guys have been using every game, it seems, lately.
Yeah, it kind of made us wonder if the conversation before yesterday's game, if we have a lead, we're going to go to our guys that we need to nail down that win. But if we fall behind, we'll use some of the other guys that haven't pitched in a while, and they found themselves with that lead and had to use some key guys, and they got themselves to that 9th inning. And then a guy that's been most reliable out of that bullpen, Soria, ended up blowing it. Now you're in a tough spot.
The irony of that is twofold. He was the most rested and he was the most reliable, and neither one worked out for the White Sox.
And he went out there and threw 27 pitches, so he's not going to be available tonight.
And he's gone 3 of the last 5 games as well. 2-2 pitches, chopped slowly past the mound, coming in. Garcia throws on the run. He's able to get Garcia, or get Gonzalez by less than a stride. Marwin frustrated as he's out at first base. Volstad gets the soft ground ball to get through the 5th. It's 3-0 Houston. Been fun to watch the young right-hander for the Astros tonight. Lance McCullers Jr. from the start of this game has been on point.
Doing very good, 9 strikeouts and doing it in 67 pitches. 40 of those 67 have been the curveball. It was a great pitch for him last time out in Tampa. It's a great pitch for him tonight against the Chicago White Sox.
Struck out Leury Garcia on the curveball his first time up as he leads off the 6th inning and swings and misses. McCullers with all outs either via strikeout or on the ground since the first batter of the game. 2 ground ball outs last inning, 2 ground ball outs in the 4th. And he's ahead 0-2 on Garcia. Lance has thrown that curveball with a little more shape and depth on those first 2 pitches.
Inside, outside, down and in.
3-pitch strikeout as he gets Garcia swinging. All 3 curveballs around 80-82. Here's a guy that can throw them on average right around 86-87, but he slowed it up at that at bat.
And to Todd's point, the shape on that breaking ball, it's one thing to have a get-me-over breaking ball, much like we see the first one on the outside corner. But even with it being a get-me-over curveball to get ahead early in the counts, he's still getting swings and misses on those get-me-over. That gives you an idea of how good and how tough it is to pick up that pitch out of his hand.
See the spin rate on that baseball, on that slow-mo coming in on the strikeout. 10 strikeouts for McCullers. He is 1 shy of matching his career high as Adam Engel bats. He struck out on the curveball his first time up. Fouls one away. It's 1-1. Lance's pitches per inning coming in at 13.4 per inning. It's a very good pace. Ball into right field, and the White Sox have their first hit of the game. Adam Engel with a single to right with 1 out in the 6th inning. And this Minute Maid Park crowd will give him a nice ovation. With this pitching staff, Plummer, it's going to happen, you would think, sooner than later.
I thought it was tonight, to be honest. Just the matchup and the way Lance has been pitching of late, the extra day's rest. Baseball's a crazy game. The 9-hole hitter breaks it up.
Yeah, the 9-hole hitter, Adam Engel, who realistically would have a lot more playing time based on his speed and his defense if he was more of a hitter. But he was able to get a base hit to right, and he's actually hit well over his last 8 games or so. Here's Yoan Moncada. So now Lance has to work out of the stretch for a rare time. Had to work out of the stretch in the 3rd inning after he hit Kevin Smith with a pitch. And now he's 2-0 on Moncada and steps behind the mound to regroup. That was your Miller Lite moment tonight. Fans having a good time on a Friday night. That ball is hit into right field for a base hit. Reddick will get over and make the play. Going to 3rd will be Engel. And now the first 2 hits of the night back to back for Chicago, and they are down 3-0, but have the tying run coming to the plate.
Moncada's been struggling with that curveball today. Gets around this one, pulls it into right field. But with 1 out, runners at 1st and 3rd, a ground ball gets Lance McCullers out of this situation. And throughout this game, he's gotten some ground balls. But how about this season? He is leading the American League in ground ball percentage. Coming into this game almost at 56%. So it's a great attribute, along with the strikeouts and the swings and misses that Lance can go out there and get. It's also nice to be able to get that ground ball. Now would be a great time for one.
He's been able to get Sanchez on a couple of ground balls tonight. 1 to 3rd, 1 to 2nd. Homer Sanchez coming in was 3 for 6 against Lance. A couple singles to right have runners on the corners with 1 out. Strike call. It's 1-1.
And it's been that fastball and curveball that have gotten a lot of ground balls for him. Curveball 56%, the fastball at 57.
And able to get ground balls from Sanchez on the curveball both times. This one off the mound and through the middle into center field for a hit. Scoring is Engel. Going to 3rd is Moncada. And the White Sox score their first run. It's now a 3-1 game.
Did you happen to catch who threw that baseball in from center field? Josh Reddick.
Wow.
They are playing well to the opposite field side in the outfield against Yomer Sanchez. See George Springer, he's shifted past that gas pump in left center field. Josh Reddick coming over to get that soft ground ball up the middle and throw it back in.
So now the White Sox with runners on the corner still in a 3-1 game, and McCullers will have to deal with Jose Abreu with 1 out. He struck out Abreu twice tonight. Ground ball towards short. Marwin, Altuve, and the double play. Lance is fired up, headed towards the dugout. Gives up 1, but no more, and it's still a 3-1 Houston lead. Variety of premium seating opportunities at Minute Maid Park, including club and suite level seats for any group size. Visit astros.com/suites or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your luxury suite today. Big double play off the bat of Jose Abreu to end the top half of the 6th inning, keeping this a 3-1 game. Tim Federovich will lead off for the Astros. He's the difference right now with a 2 RBI double his last time up. Takes a pitch from Chris Volstad for a strike. It's 0-1.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty impressive to think that with all that traffic the Astros created, Lopez only ended up giving up 3 runs.
Yeah, 6 hits, 5 walks, and a hit batter, and only 3 runs allowed in 6 innings. Or excuse me, in 4 2/3 innings. Speaking of traffic, how about Lance last inning? Gave up 3 consecutive hits, his first 3 of the game, and still only needed 13 pitches to get out of that inning.
Highly efficient.
Yeah, his pitch count still in great order is McCullers. And picked up his 10th strikeout along the way in that inning as well.
Yeah, I'm sure early on the focus was on striking everybody out, maintaining that pitch count, and trying to get that no-hitter. Now that he's given up 3 hits and a run, now the focus is on eating up innings.
Federovich goes down looking and asks Alan Porter if he can have that same pitch when he's behind the plate. That is the first strikeout for Volstad and out number 1 of the 6th. Well, that to your point, Jose Abreu had struck out the first 2 times against Lance. At that point of the game, he was probably looking for the strikeout. Yep. Last situation, 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
That's why he was fist pumping coming off.
He was looking for the double play and got it. That is a nasty hitter, Jose Abreu, although he hasn't been at his best lately. He's always a guy you don't want to see with runners on base, as Tony Kemp grounds one to the right side. Yohan Moncada makes the play. And Volstad has come in and retired the first 3 batters he has faced to this inning.
Guess what? We're going to name that Astros, brought to you by Nissan. Some interesting clues out there. Did you guess right? I didn't get very many opportunities on there, and everybody that tweeted at me was wrong. Alex Cintron played all 4 infield positions in Major League Baseball. He also played for the White Sox in 06 and 07. Finished his career with the Sugarland Skeeters.
On 2 hops, George Springer grounds the 3rd high throw, but Abreu is a big first baseman. Only 6 pitches needed in that inning for Chris Volstad. And it's still 3-1. Astros, we did learn who is playing in the futures game from the Astros minor leaguers. Forrest Whitley, the pitcher, and Yordan Alvarez, first baseman outfielder.
Yeah, these guys are pretty good, and they're going to represent the Astros in that futures game. It's good to see. Only 6 starts on the season for Forrest Whitley, but Yordan Alvarez just getting called up, putting up great numbers. He is now in Fresno. But Forrest Whitley last night, a little bit of a tweak in that left oblique. Let's see him grab that left side, pulled out of that game. Hopefully nothing too aggressive as far as that oblique. That can be a nagging injury that lasts a while. See that big guy behind him? That was Jordan.
Big boy now, AAA, huh?
Yeah. A couple of moves in that AAA roster allowing Jordan Alvarez to get up to Fresno now.
Well, hopefully Whitley's able to pitch, but knowing the Astros, if there is any concern at all with that oblique issue, and the Futures game would be a week from Sunday, they would err on the side of caution times 10 with a young arm like that. So we'll see, because just like the All-Star game, the Futures game is a game where young arms are out there to try and throw the ball 100 miles an hour if possible.
Yes, they do.
Marwin Gonzalez makes the play on Avisail Garcia for the first out of the 7th inning. Lance got the big ground ball double play to get through the 6th, and now a ground ball out to start the 7th. Lance is on a roll now with his 7th consecutive start of 6 innings or more. He had never done that 6 times prior to this run. And we mentioned at the beginning of the year, as part of the process, Lance getting the ball not only on a consistent basis and approaching his career highs in innings pitched and in starts, but he's also going deeper into every start as well. 1-1 to count to Palka. He had 2 starts in April of 7 innings, 2 starts in May of 7 innings, and 2 starts in June of 7 innings. And now he's halted in the middle of his delivery. Trying to start out July with at least 7 innings, maybe more, as he has 85 pitches right now. Brad Peacock is just started to throw some pitches in the bullpen. That pitch didn't miss by much. It's 2-1. Two and 2 the count. McCullers 11 strikeout games. One of them came earlier this year. Struck out 11 in Seattle. Also back in his rookie season, not long after his big league debut, he struck out 11 Orioles in a start in June in 2015. Swing and a miss. That is the 3rd time in his career McCullers has struck out as many as 11. He gets his 11th tonight for the 2nd out of the 7th.
Game of Thrones night is back at Minute Maid Park this Tuesday. Ticket package upgrades are available that include a Charlie Morton Ruler of the Realm bobblehead. Fans can also take a photo on the Iron Throne of the 7 Kings. Visit Astros.com/GOT for tickets and info.
Here's Matt Davidson. He struck out his first time up, also grounded out. Grounds 1 foul. Lance has struck out 7 of the 9 batters in this lineup. Only Kevin Smith and Yolmer Sanchez have avoided a strikeout tonight for the White Sox. Oh and 2. Lance has a strikeout in every inning tonight. He struck out 3 in the 2nd and 3 more in the 3rd. The extra couple of days of rest seem to be working well for Lance. Pitched last Friday, working on 6 days of rest tonight. He got him. Career high strikeout number 12 for Lance McCullers Jr. And the Astros lead 3-1. 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park.
for us at SW. We asked which ninth inning AV was the biggest key to last night's walk-off win. And look at George Springer coming through with a win tonight. You guys voted 40% for George as he tied up the game. The RBI knock. Well done. A little bit of a surprise there, I think. People love George. Hey, check out this view, guys.
Yeah.
This is going to be your view Tuesday night.
Cannot wait.
Really?
During the broadcast.
There's some good seats.
Seriously, that's where we're going to be?
You guys are.
Oh, we're going to be living large up there.
Yeah. That sounds like trouble.
Are you allowed to visit?
Yeah, I'm going to visit.
It's not like our little tree fort.
We're going to have security.
What do they call it? The party deck out there? Is that what you guys are going to be doing?
It will be Tuesday.
I was just saying, if it hasn't been named that, it will be after Tuesday.
We'll have to see if Julia's allowed in the tree fort. It's a called strike. It's 1-1.
You got to know the password and the secret handshake.
That'll be fun. Get to call a game from out there. Well, a view just like our center field cameras that night. That'll be Tuesday, Game of Thrones night. Oakland A's will be in town. As Volstad misses to Alex Bregman, it's 2-1. Long homestand, 11 gamer. We're going to mix it up by leaving the booth for a night.
Yeah, I'm going to take you with me this time.
Here's a ball ripped foul past Gary Pettis. It's 2-2. Yeah, speaking of tree forts or tree houses, that's where Blummer was in Oakland on one of our Astros After Dark shows earlier this year. Left the booth, hung out in the tree house for a while out there in left field at the Oakland Coliseum.
That's how I got my swing ready for the Hall of Fame Classic.
Yeah, worked out. That ball sent high in the air to left field. I think Bregman got under it a bit. He did. Palka makes the play for the first out of the bottom of the seventh. Oakland, California, a new venue.
It's a great place to visit. I know.
Actually have trees growing in the
tree house.
Pretty cool. That worked out.
Us Californians can be pretty green about things.
The Hall of Fame Classic, you were able to drive in a run after getting a little BP in Oakland.
Yeah, all the while you and Julia working things out on the field.
Yeah, this is in game. Here's Jose Altuve taking a pitch outside for a ball. There's more to come in Oakland next time around.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot in store still for those visits out to the Coliseum. Julia will be involved in one of the better
I cannot wait
moments of the year. Ground ball up the middle. Guess what?
That's a knock.
A 3-hit game. Another 3-hit game for Jose Altuve. Yeah, that's his 11th of the season.
Pretty simple. Jose Altuve digs in and just says, I'm going to place this where nobody can get to it, so it ends up being a hit. Got a hustle base hit last time up. This one just punches it up the middle, finds himself on base again.
Brad Peacock's still warming up, so there's a chance, even though Lance's pitch count is in great shape right now. He's thrown 93 pitches. There's a chance Lance may have the evening off. We'll see. He's thrown 13 pitches each of the last 3 innings and 12 in the fourth to get to 93 through 7. Yuli 1 for 3, knocked in the game's first run, also grounded into a double play his last time up. That's inside, and it actually brushes Gurriel, who's going to head to first base. Yuli gets hit by a pitch. And he doesn't want to leave the plate. That's a hitter right there.
Swinging the bat as good as he is, why not? Just a little bit of that jersey. I think Volstad wants him to look at the replay, but we have looked at it, and he's going to be on first base.
That's the most comfortable hit by pitch you'll ever see.
Yeah, enjoy those.
I'll bring up Josh Reddick as Rick Renteria will head to the mound. White Sox had bullpen action going. Luis Avilan had been warming up. Volstad, who's thrown a lot of pitches this week, as Blummer mentioned, will leave here with 2 on and 1 out in the 7th inning after pitching an inning and 2/3 tonight. We'll have more after this in a 3-1 game.
Youth replica jersey presented by Exclusive Furniture. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions. So no big kids, just young kids there. But I might steal one anyway. Somehow I've got to get me one of those jerseys. So Oakland, you were talking about Oakland, TK?
Oakland.
Some of the things that we're looking forward to when we go to Oakland.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Cue the Rocky montage music. I have been in full training for one particular race that will be going on the field. That's, you know, I've been playing it in my head as I work out in the morning. Getting ready for the big Legends Hall of Fame race they have out there.
Raw eggs for breakfast. Josh Reddick will face Luis Avilan. And Julia, do we already know which legend you're going to be?
I don't know. We did a Chevy stroke hole about this.
Well, Ricky won.
Ricky won. I'm not sure they're going to let me wear Ricky because of the sunglasses being very expensive to fix in case I fall on my face.
So that would be you.
So that's me right there. So it might be Eck.
Stay tuned. More Astros After Dark next time we go out to Oakland. 1-0 pitch sent high in the air into shallow right center field. Garcia makes the call and puts it away for out number 2. So Reddick flies out to right, keeping Altuve at second and Gurriel at first. Now Avilan will face Evan Gattis. Gattis, after striking out his first time up, has been on base his last 2 times, a single, a run scored. He also walked. Facing Avilan, a 28-year-old left-hander who features a lot of changeups. He will throw the changeup more than 50% of the time to right-hand hitters. Changeup comes in around 82 miles an hour. Fastball around 91. There is that changeup. Knowing Evan is a fastball hitter, you may see a high dosage of changeups in this AB. Missed with a couple of changeups to Gattis. It's 2-0.
On the season, Avilan is throwing that changeup to right-handed hitters 50% of the time. Fastball at 39%, curveball at 10%.
See if we'll challenge Evan here. There he rips one down the line. Fair ball. In to score Altuve. To third goes Yuli. Evan Gattis an RBI double. It's 4-1 Astros.
Man, he went out there and got that changeup on the outside corner, and he got well around it, yanking it down that left field line. Not a terrible location off the plate outside. It was actually a fastball at 89. The way Evan went after it made me think it was a changeup.
Evan makes it a 4-1 game, and now Marwin Gonzalez bats. Marwin has flied out deep to center field. He has walked and scored a run and grounded out. Takes a strike. Astros back to their 3-run lead. One of the many great things about Julia, she will always be up for a challenge. And when you present her with an opportunity to be challenged, whether it's racing the freeze or doing the Legends race, she won't just go out there. She'll train for it. She doesn't just show up.
It's a mindset, Todd.
She's locked in for this Legends race.
Absolutely. Got a practice run in.
Fly ball into shallow right. Out goes the second baseman Moncada, but Garcia, the right fielder, makes the play for the final out. Astros tack on a run, lead it 4-1, heading to the 8th. Or by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in there. TV subscription, blackouts, and territorial restrictions do apply. Defensive changes in the outfield for the Astros heading to the 8th. Jake Marisnick takes over in center. That means the Cupid Shuffle is underway. George Springer is in right and Josh Reddick is in left. And the new pitcher for the Astros is Brad Peacock.
Good to see Brad out there with that fastball slider that's been great of late. 36 innings, 52 strikeouts, 1 earned run allowed since June 12th.
So Lance leaves after 7 brilliant innings, a career high 12 strikeouts. And for the second straight night, the Astros with double-digit strikeouts without a walk.
It's a beautiful thing.
There was one hit batter, a 2-2 changeup that hit Kevin Smith, who leads off the 8th. Smith takes one outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Justin Verlander, 10 strikeouts, no walks. Lance McCullers Jr., 12 strikeouts, no walks. In this same series, the Astros starters have not walked a batter. The 2 starters for the White Sox have walked 6 and 5 respectively the last 2 nights. More bullpen action going for the White Sox. A couple of lefties, Jace Fry and Hector Santiago. No chase there. It's 2-2. Softly hit. Going out Altuve, and a basket catch over his shoulder. Tries the behind the back flip, and the ball comes loose, but he had that for plenty of time to record the out.
3 hits, great play.
And he's mad at Jake for not catching behind the back flip.
Yeah, you got to pick me up. He got a great jump on this and realized that he was going to be the only one that was going to have a play on it. So he sticks with it. Great footwork.
Like, come on, Jake, that was styling it up, and you didn't help me out.
Yeah, the Globetrotters were just running through here, so he figured he'd go with the behind the back pass, and Jake, we'll see a little more athleticism, Jake.
Those two are such good friends. I love that Altuve gave him a hard time after that. Nice play by Altuve. Start the 8th. Here's Leury Garcia swinging through that pitch. It's 1-1. Garcia struck out twice against Lance McCullers Jr. Lance retired the first 6 batters tonight. Then he hit Smith with that 2-2 changeup. Then he retired the next 10 batters before 3 straight hits. The 9, 1, and 2 hitters, and then got a double play by Jose Abreu. That double play off the bat of Abreu was the at-bat of the night for Lance in a 3-1 game. And a 1-2-3 7th, including his career high 12 strikeout. Brad Peacock adds to the strikeout totals with number 13 for the second out of the 8th.
A couple of hat tricks for Chicago White Sox hitters. Leury Garcia and Daniel Palka.
Here's Adam Engel. He's the one that broke up the no-hitter for Lance, and he sends one into left center field. Pretty well hit. On the move, Jake, a diving catch, and he got there. That could be one of his best of the year.
Holy cow.
Jake Marisnick put in for defense this inning, and it pays off as he lays out on the diving catch.
Do not give up on the baseball. That is Jake's motto. That was absolutely incredible.
Time to look up if it was a 4 or a 5 star. We'll tell you when we come back in this 4-1 game.
walk-off wins in each of the last 4 home series. I think these guys like playing at home because there's always that last at-bat opportunity for them to go out there and celebrate a little bit. And they like doing it in front of the hometown fans here at Minute Maid Park.
Bregman with 2 in the last homestand. Yuli with his first last night. Carlos Correa had 1 against Kansas City. 1 in each series for the last 4 at home. I'm sure Yuli had plenty of walk-offs in Cuba, but that was his first at the big league level. Tim Fedorovich leads off the bottom half of the 8th inning and takes a called strike. How about that catch by Jake in the top half of the 8th inning to end the inning for the White Sox. Sometimes StatCasts adjust their numbers, but we're not thrilled with the numbers we saw on that catch percentage. Sometimes they go back and tweak it, but that one, Blummer, was, I thought, at least a 4-star, if not a 5, and they said
53%
catch probability.
Yeah,
It makes it a 3-star catch. And
I am severely disappointed in that because from our vantage point behind home plate, this is where we're looking from. Jake is flying, and that's full extension. Maybe they adjust it to Jake, because for Jake it's 53%. Everybody else it would have been a different number.
hey, how about Tim Fedorovich with a 2-for-4 night, a leadoff base hit in the 8th inning. You know, the thing about Jake, he has caught every single 1, 2, 3, or 4-star catch possibility this year.
Yeah, and that is a phenomenal thing.
He and Harrison Bader are the only 2 that have done that with that many attempts this season. So if that's a 3-star attempt and he doesn't catch that, that's the first one that goes against his record. That's hard to believe that's a 3-star attempt.
Yeah.
But that's why we love StatCast. We use it as much as anybody.
No, and we want to use it. We want to understand it. But sometimes the eye and the replay don't match up with the number, because I was incredible.
And we understand why the one on the wall earlier this year was 3-star, because it has to do with slowing up, and that sometimes the fence is not accounted for, even though they said they've been working to account for the fence. The one that he posterized Josh Reddick was a 3-star as well. But this one, he never slowed up.
No, 29 feet per second, getting over there, trucking 80 feet. And the full extension for me, because that one in Yankee Stadium, wasn't it? He kind of timed that one a little bit for me.
Yeah, this was unbelievable.
I didn't expect him to catch it. I sat back and was like, here's another base runner.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, Engel has 2 of their 4 hits tonight. And then out of nowhere came Jake. This guy's special defensively. You're not talking about just one of the best in baseball. You can make the argument top 2 or 3 in terms of the StatCast numbers this year. Swing and a miss. He's a little frustrated in that at bat. Goes down swinging. Hector Santiago picks up his first strikeout. With the Astros scoring a run on the White Sox bullpen last inning, that continues a trend that Rick Renteria would like to see end sooner than later. Their bullpen's allowed runs in 10 consecutive games. Here's George Springer looking for his first hit tonight. George waited until his 5th AB last night before picking up his first hit. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Santiago, 30-year-old left-hander. Just fastball changeup to the right-hand hitters. And this one into right center field. George has a base hit. Fedorovich on the move. He'll get to third. Springer will hold up at first. George has himself a hit again after an 0 for 4 start, just like last night, and the Astros have runners on first and third.
When hitters are struggling, they always talk about trying to drive the baseball over the second baseman's head. That means they're letting the ball get a little bit deeper, not attacking it out in front of that contact zone. But this should be one that helps George start to put things together and maybe get on a little bit of a run. Been a while since he's been on the base paths. Got a little aggressive and lost his footing.
George with hits in 3 of his last 4 games, so signs of coming out of it slowly but surely for the Astros outfielder. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman takes a strike. The Astros have hit 23 times now with runners in scoring position this series. The White Sox 5. There's a base hit and an RBI for Bregman. 5-1 game. Springer flying around second. He will go in head first. Bregman into second. Astros lead it on the RBI by Alex Bregman. 5-1.
Good things happening for the Astros. Change up out of the hand of Santiago. When you're thinking fastball away, you can stay on a changeup like Alex just did. George got a good jump. As soon as he recognized that Engel was going to go far to his right, he decided to challenge him. Makes it with ease. And with that throw getting away from the cutoff man, Alex Bregman with a brilliant read getting into second base.
And now Altuve gets to bat with the infield in. Instead, he'll be intentionally walked to load the bases for Yuli Gurriel. Altuve won't have a chance at a 4-hit game, at least for now. 3 consecutive hits and now a walk. He has been on base 4 times tonight and 3 times last night, and Yuli will bat with the bases full.
The analytics team decides to walk the guy with 3 hits and consistently getting 200 hits a season for the guy who's leading the American League in RISP.
Astros trying to break this game open. It's 5-1. 1 out. Bases loaded. Yuli sends one towards right down the line. Long run for Garcia. It's a fair ball and it bounces into the crowd. Avisail Garcia overran that fly ball and it bounces into the crowd for a ground rule double and a 7-1 Astros lead.
Just touch it. Guys in scoring position. Yuli's going to drive him in. Even if Garcia catches that ball out there in right field, it's an RBI. But in hustling over there, just overshoots the landing. Couldn't have picked a worse time to do it.
Perfectly placed by Yuli, who has 3 more RBIs tonight. That's your standard 2 RBI double with the bat still in your hand when the ball lands. Yuli was just drifting up the line, barrel of the bat in his hand. They're going to call that an error. That is not going to be ruled a double.
Come on.
So Yuli
So did Eric Hosmer get an error?
Nope.
On Alex Bregman's fly ball?
I already wrote it in pen, Blummer. You know how
it's in pen.
He is not credited with a hit on that long run by Garcia that he overshot. And here's Josh Reddick. Common misconception is that if you don't touch the ball, it can't be an error, which is not accurate. However, even though he didn't touch the ball, that is a long run.
That's not a guaranteed out.
You're dealing with the stands, and the ball spinning back off the crowd. There's a line drive base hit. That's clean. In to score Altuve. It's now an 8-1 Astros lead. They have piled on 4 more here in the 8th.
Right now, the Astros are playing a game of get yours. Get your numbers. Get greedy.
Hector Rondon had been warming up for the Astros when this inning started, but he has sat down as the game has gone from a save situation at 4-1 to a 7-run cushion. Longtime pitching coach for the White Sox, Don Cooper, out there to have a word with his reliever here. Hector Santiago has allowed the last 5 hitters to reach base. One of them wasn't really his fault. On a misplay by Garcia that was ruled an error. 3 hits, an intentional walk, 4 hits in the inning. Could be 5 if it's eventually changed. Evan, first pitch swinging, fouls it away. Single by Fedorovich got the inning started. George added a single. Bregman added an RBI single. Altuve was intentionally walked. He only hit a ball down the line that for now is being ruled an error. Could be a 2 RBI double. And then Josh Reddick an RBI single. Inside it's 1-1. This bullpen has been taxed for the White Sox. This is Hector Santiago's inning no matter what. Or nobody getting loose behind him. That ball's crushed. Evan Gattis deep to left field. Train number 11 has just left Union Station, and the Astros lead 11-1.
Friday night fireworks are showing up early.
Here it comes. Marwin pops one into right field. Avisail Garcia makes this catch. And that's out number 2. Fans in right field giving Avisail a nice hand after that catch.
Gosh. Just going to let the pictures speak for themselves. Punishing blow off the bat of Evan Gattis. 107 miles an hour off the bat. Estimated 422 feet. Rick one-hop the plexiglass.
It's a good night for the Strozone to give out their Hugs for Homers shirts. It's filled up tonight as well.
Got a special delivery.
This is the guy that started the inning, Tim Fedorovich. He'll bat for the 2nd time in this inning for the 5th time tonight. He's 2 for 4 with a 2 RBI double and also a single and a run scored. Ground ball towards 3rd. Sanchez has it. The inning comes to a close, but not before the Astros tack on 7, and they have blown this game wide open. It is 11-1.
Hit a homer, get a hug. 11-1 Astros.
you by Toyota. Let's go places. Astros with a huge lead now, 11-1. 3 of those in the 7-run 8th, thanks to Evan Gattis, who continues to pace the way with his team-leading 18th home run and 61 RBIs now. Had an RBI double in the 7th and a 3-run home run in the 8th. Astros continuing to score a lot of runs. 7th inning on, they're up to 163. That's the best in all of baseball. As Brad Peacock stays in there and faces Yoan Moncada. Takes a pitch outside for a ball. Peacock was originally thinking his night might be over in a 4-1 game, but now that it's 11-1, AJ said might as well keep him out there. 3-run lead is part of the criteria for a save. When Brad Peacock came in there, it was a 3-run lead to start the inning.
It changed drastically.
In the left field, Josh Reddick coming in and over and puts it away for out number 1. The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontron RV. The Astros home for a season-high 11-game homestand. 2 more with the White Sox tomorrow and Sunday. Then the A's are in town Monday through Thursday. And our first look at the Tigers in 2018 will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before the All-Star break. Then out to the West Coast. Anaheim and Colorado on the other side of the break. Here's Yomer Sanchez, 1 for 3 tonight. A single his last time up. Sanchez drove in the only run of the night for the White Sox with that single. Outside, it's 1-1. Astros, as mentioned, playing 20 of 26 games at home going into the All-Star break. We saw that on the schedule courtesy of DeMontron RV. They will pay for it on the other side of the All-Star break because they will play 22 out of 31 on the road after the break.
It's a lot of Astros after dark.
Yes, it is. And it's not as many opportunities as people at home might think. If you're sitting back there going, well, season's broken into halves. All-Star break usually is right in the middle. Because there'll be 53 home games into the season at the All-Star break. So you only have 28 more home opportunities after the break. So if you were sitting around and saying, yeah, I meant to get to a game, I didn't quite get there in the first half, we're beyond the first half already.
Yeah, you better turn it up a notch. Yeah. These guys are.
And I will say this, the Astros have seen crowds like we have never seen.
It has been a phenomenal year and worth sticking around for.
38,153 tonight, who saw, as Blummer said, a preview of the fireworks show. There are fireworks every Friday night. For Big and Bright Friday nights, they play the game with the roof closed. As soon as it's over, they ship people around so they can watch the fireworks and pull back the roof here at Minute Maid Park. If you haven't been out here for a Big and Bright Friday night, you should treat yourself sometime. It's a lot of fun. As we told you earlier in the broadcast, the price points for the White Sox, $11. Seats are available for as low as $11 for this series. Abreu, who grounded into a double play. At the time, it was a huge moment, even though the game's now 11-1. At the time, it was a 3-1 game with runners on first and third and 1 out in the 6th inning, and Lance had given up 3 straight hits. McCullers was able to get him on a double play to shortstop. Got him through the 6th, and then Lance picked up a 1-2-3 7th to close out his night. This ball sliced the other way and just foul. Abreu making a bid for his first hit.
It's been a fun game. Lance really pitched well. Like you said, some of the defense has been great. Bats coming alive. Jake making that diving catch might have sparked these guys a little bit too.
Fastball just misses the edge. It's 2-2.
Some fans keeping score at home too, tweeting some pictures of a messy scorebook, and that's always a good thing when it's on the Astros side.
Yeah, your highlighter's been busy lately.
Yeah, I may have to get another one.
This is a team, the White Sox, and the pop-up by Abreu. The Astros outscored 27-2 as Altuve takes it from literally where Yuli was standing the whole time. Yuli knows better.
Yep.
Wasn't even an issue. It wasn't even like Yuli's trying to say, I'm right here. He's like, all right, I know you're going to get in my space.
No, we used to call that one the me got it. Oh, you take it.
It's right to the Yuli.
In his tracks. Yuli had to move from his position to let him take it.
Here's a fly ball to right field. Springer going all the way back. He's on the track. He's at the wall, and it's gone. Avisail Garcia hits a home run the other way to make it an 11-3 game. Garcia with his 8th home run of the season. That's frustrating for Peacock. He was one batter away from a 2-inning save. Still could pick up the save, obviously, with an 8-run lead, but now he's put 2 on his ledger in the inning. Mention how the White Sox pitchers have issued a lot of walks in this series. 9 last night, another 6 tonight. That was the first walk issued by an Astros pitcher. Yolmer Sanchez walking in this inning. He came around to score on the home run by Avisail Garcia. So the Astros have drawn 15 walks to 1 for the White Sox so far in the first 2 games. Plus the White Sox have hit a couple of batters. Lance hit one tonight. 2-1 the count to Palka. He has struck out all 3 times tonight facing McCullers. And a high fly ball into left field. Pretty well hit towards the Crawford boxes and into the Crawford boxes. Palka goes opposite field. Back-to-back home runs for the White Sox. And it's now an 11-4 game as Palka hits his 11th home run of the year.
Frustrating for Brad Peacock.
One of those games you're just trying to get through it and throw strikes. But a couple of strikes have been hit out of the park by the White Sox, a back-to-back hitter. Trying to get Matt Davidson to end this game as he's ahead 0-1. Davidson was the strikeout victim for Lance McCullers' career high 12th tonight to finish the 7th inning. Brad Peacock trying to put the finishing touches on a 11-4 game, but he's been struggling with that 27th out. Astros separating this game in the 8th inning with a 7 spot. When it's 11-1 and you've just hit a 3-run home run and you're the DH, I know Evan wants to stay loose, but there's a good chance if you don't wear the sweatshirt, you're not going to see another at bat. And he's just pouring sweat.
Yeah.
2-2 the count. Traditions die hard.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stay right there.
Now the fans, 38,000 plus, rise to their feet. Peacock slider misses away, and the count's full. Astros winning last night in a back-and-forth contest in walk-off fashion, 4-3. And here's a fly ball playable. Reddick and Marisnick converge. Josh Reddick makes the call, and the Astros have won 4 in a row. 11-4 winners tonight. They have beaten the White Sox all 5 times this year. Lance McCullers Jr. picks up his 10th win. He is in double figures for wins for the first time in his career. Despite giving up those runs in the 9th, Brad Peacock inherited a 3-run game, so he picks up the save as the Astros win it 11-4. Plenty more coming up. Should be a fun post-game show after this.